Welcome to the Game of Realms office hour. It's great to have all of you here. We hope that in this session, there is a chance for everyone who are working on Game of Realms to be able to ask their questions. And any problems that they are facing or any topics they would like to discuss. As part of this session, Manfred is going to give some back to kind of the start of how some information about the start of the differences between the different phases and the challenges in phase 1 and phase 2 with a little bit more detail on a mural screen. So I'm going to pass to Manfred. However, please feel free to always ask questions in the chat, or if you want it, you can always unmute yourself to ask questions on anything that is being discussed. Hi, Manfred.
Hey, sorry, I was talking with Jay about, we are thinking about potentially move office hours for Game of Realms in a more asynchronous way. So I will try something today, and keep in mind that we are looking for a way to be even more useful and usable by anyone participating now, anyone coming back 2 weeks after. So let's try something new today. I will share a mirror board. Tell me if you can see my hello world.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. So one of the things I will try is to give more visibility on topics. Phase 1 Game of Thrones has 2 main phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is here to prepare for phase 2, but not only. Prepare for phase 2 and actually build important foundations for the project. Because if we go in the detail, and phase 2, just to come back to what is it in terms of high level vision, it's about experiencing, how to say it correctly, experiencing distributed governance roadmap incentive. The goal is to experiment proof of contribution at a very small level by allowing not the core team, not me, not Jay, not the AIB staff to allocate points, so diluting their own points. So DAO members will distribute points to new people, diluting their own power. It also means that the roadmap won't be necessarily the one imposed by the core team. It will be the first iteration of the chain belongs to its contributor. And an important part of this is to build. So yeah, we want to prepare during phase 1 3 important parts: evaluation DAO, governance module, and tutorials. The goal is to make phase 2 more open to anyone, in higher quantity. So here it's more about a few people, more autonomous, and here about opening to the mass. I put double quotes because it will still be a limited mass at the beginning, but yeah, the goal is to prepare for this. But phase 2 will be incentivized months. So we can say like double incentivized because people will earn points for the competition that will unlock prices at the end. But it's also a way to enter in the upcoming Genesis or whatever. Yeah, basically we are allowing people to contribute to the project with more liberty, because here you can follow the suggested plan. People can follow the suggested plan or come with their ideas and convince the DAO. So for many people, it will be a good occasion to contribute to the project with more liberty. And contributing to a project which will be powered by proof of contribution is actually a very good way to enter while it's simple, because there are many topics, and to ensure that you will be an early contributor on a project which will be powered and will reward contributors. So phase 1 is about writing tutorials mostly for phase 2, because we will need tutorials for the whole life of the project. But right now the tutorials are focused on phase 2, not on the one after, because we can say that after this we'll have pre-launch phase. So the phase after phase 2 of Game of Thrones will be the post Game of Thrones pre-launch phase, and then we'll have the launch. So if I zoom out, some tasks from phase 2 can be started right now, even if that's not the main focus. It's not a problem because it will still earn points at the end. We prefer people to work on the focus so we can unlock next phase earlier. Then we'll have this phase where we will still need tutorials. Then we'll have the launch, and then after the launch, we'll also have the scale phase. Scale will be about scaling the amount of users, the kind of users, having entrepreneurs building on GNU, being more Solidity friendly, Solidity developer friendly, more Golang Web 2 friendly, etc. So tutorials are for phase 2. It's actually good but optional. We can run phase 2 with less tutorials and actually continue writing tutorials at the beginning of phase 2 during phase 2. Governance module, it's kind of the same. We'll need governance module soon before the launch. It's mandatory to have good governance module, but it's also something that makes sense for other initiatives around GNU, like decentralized DAO, where we will need governance module. And actually, as soon as we fix the evaluation DAO to elect members and have accurate voting power based on contribution, then the goal is to use this metrics, the contribution score, etc., to allow governing the chain. And governing the chain will probably be more complex than just having votes with voting power. Maybe we need to make more steps for proposals, not only, okay, there is a vote, either you vote, is it either open or finished? Maybe we'll have pre-preparation phases where we can discuss more like a forum. Maybe we will have a phase where we try to split multiple proposals to address a unique needs. Maybe we'll have restrictions. Some governance votes limited to a certain level, to people with enough power, enough, old enough. I don't know actually. But yeah, this is also optional. We can run phase 2 without governance module, but we will need it early, and it will probably need to have multiple iterations. So actually, the only one which is blocking is evaluation DAO. The other ones are important, and if we can get them before phase 2, that's best. But we can also just decide to start with evaluation DAO and build the governance module progressively. So maybe we try to zoom a little bit on evaluation DAO, because it has a different name. It's not the same as proof of contribution, which is not yet a topic, but it's an important part of proof of contribution. I will just give you some visibility about how proof of contribution will work. Proof of contribution is about validators, owners, and module features. And we can say that's all. Validators is about having a validator set. So it will be different than with proof of stake. Having validators means having ways to we can say that. So validator set management, meaning add, remove, but also slash, because it's important to think about slashing. And maybe configure. By default, we probably want to have a limit. Maybe the limit will just be the validator set. Maybe it will be hard-coded here. Maybe we'll have automatic slashing or only manual slashing. It's to be defined during evaluation DAO, and it will have evolution, the V1, the V2, etc. We have the owners. So the owners is clearly managed by evaluation DAO. DAO to ask for reward points and to distribute points. This is the first part. The second part will be about earning badge level. So you can earn points. At some point, we will have liquid rewards. So if you work twice much more than someone else, you should expect to have more rewards. But we also want to have badges and levels, both to identify the specialist, the expertises, and also to maybe protect the project, because some expertise could be completely technical, and some of them could also just be in terms of alignment and security. So proving that we are not, short-termist, that we believe in working on something where security, long-term security is more important than short-term profit. So we will want to have badges that will probably be managed by each badge leaders or level DAO. I don't know, to be honest, it's to be defined. But consider that you can earn points and you will get rewards based on the points, but then you may be asked to make special tasks, maybe KYC for some point, or I don't know yet, but for some badges, some levels allowing you to receive more rewards and to have more power or more features, you may need to pass additional tests. And then module features. So it's more about governance module. Maybe no, just to give you some visibility that everything here is designed so in the future cross-chain, because we want to make proof contribution the heart of GNU.land, but we also want it to be fair even across the chains. So we'll see later. It may be to future for now. So in the future, cross-chain rewards, licensing. In the future, proof of contribution will also be to reward contract authors. At the beginning, the goal is to reward. So yeah, I missed this one, reward. At the beginning, the focus is to have a validator set managed by the DAO, ways to configure some limit, rules, whatever, fully on-chain without redeploying the chain. So we can make a vote, and the vote can change parameters. Then we need to, we put this here because it's linked. So adding, removing validators by default, but also slashing, because even if we will start with a more trusted network, because we can expect from validators to, from contributors to vote for good validators because that's in their interest. We are not looking anymore for validators which are just good in marketing. It's about securing our chain. We can expect more security, but we still need to have some slashing features, at least a way to pause someone, not necessarily a way to slash rewards at the beginning. Maybe the slashing in terms of burning tokens, stealing tokens can be done only by votes from a DAO, but we need to have ways to just if something dangerous is detected, we need to just give time for DAO to vote on what to do. And the rewards, which will be focused at the beginning on contribution owners, so the people from the DAO, and validators. So now if we just look at how it works technically, proof of stake is basically the same, except that everything is managed by staking. So validators are elected / based and generate rewards based on the amount of staked atoms, tokens. Owners are people choosing to stake tokens. I say rich here just because you can enter a deposit chain in just one day, while the Evaluation DAO will require you to make contributions. So you can't just be rich, come and become an important actor in one day. It will be more, it will be slower to become a contributor with enough points. And module features, basically, it's about voting on the governance module directly as a user, or if you don't vote, through your validators. This is basically how it works. And in our case, we are kind of similar. And an important part is about the reward system. On proof of stake, rewards are distributed to validators working, and their stakers, their delegates, based on the amount of staked tokens. Here it will be a little bit different because maybe it will change. I say something today, maybe we will decide to do something different, especially if during the Evaluation DAO working, someone propose something better. But right now, the idea is to elect validators, not only because we have voting power, but just because the DAO trusts someone. So maybe that's an option that at the beginning, validators are only managed by the contributors themselves because they prefer to do it by themselves. I don't know for any reason. But at some point, we will have, like on any other chain, people that want to become validators, that they will probably not try to convince with marketing the users that they need to stake on us, but they will try to convince the chain contributors that they will protect the chain, that they are good validators, infrastructure experts, etc. Meaning that it's like a proof of authority where validators are chosen by the authority, except that authority is a DAO. So this is technically how we elect validators. Instead of having something dynamic based on the stake and unstake, etc., we'll have a list. The list will be, and last important thing, everything. Managed by contracts. So we will create contracts to manage the validator state. So it will be probably r/system/validators. And this contract will allow to update the set through vote, through whatever makes sense, but yeah, through vote mainly. And then the chain will read this contract. It won't write on it, it will read the contract. So chain will read the contract to know the current set. This is how we will have validators. What it means that on proof of stake, you have different voting powers. And on many chains now you have limits. So you can say that, I don't know, it's not possible for a single node to have more than 10% of the voting power. But it's still possible if you have 7 nodes to put 10% on the 7 nodes and have 70% of the voting power, but you can't have only on one chain. Here we would probably want to say one node, one power. Okay, 100 nodes, everyone has 1% of voting power. It's not really voting power. It's more about having the blocks, etc. That's a current option. Maybe it will change, but currently we want to make something like this. So we won't have the risk of having someone fees, the rewards, like this, with contributors first and validators paid because they clearly make an important job to secure the chain to host infrastructure. But it won't be as dynamic as now. Now, some validators, if they're especially not good in infrastructure but in marketing, can make a huge amount of money, and some other very good validators may just be paid nothing or a few amounts because they are less good in marketing, because they are not in the good group of validators. So we try to make something a little bit allowing more people to join the set and to prevent having monopoly of validators or group of validators owning blockchains. And then just to give you some visibility about how it will work, especially in the future when we will want to reward the contract authors, how it works. We want on GNO, the GNO SDK, so the account of Cosmos SDK will be to manage as much GNO SDK equivalent of Cosmos SDK, but with more contract first. How to say it? Most of the config of the modularity in contract. GNO SDK will probably be just ways from a chain, from the app chain, from the main of your chain, to set up hooks. You can have a hook. Okay, I received an IBC event. Okay, I have a new validator. Okay, I have, I don't know, a new peer-to-peer connection. Okay, I have a new transaction, whatever. And the goal will be to say, okay, the chain, if you want to read that contract, this is how you do it. If you want to call a function of a contract, this is how you do it, etc. So at the end, r/system validators will manage the data set, and the chain will be aware from the chain side, not from the contract side. They will ask the contract, what is the list? So who is the next validator that should work in the round robin? Something similar will be with the rewards. Rewards how can we manage rewards with contracts where the chain can also receive transactions that are not calling contracts? If I submit tokens to someone else, it's not about calling contract, but I still want those gas fees to be rewarded to the contributors, to the validators. So to manage this, we'll have bucket. So for the one coding in GNU right now, it can be, I don't know, r/system/fees. This contract, this realm could have a bank instance, meaning that we can send UGNOT and other tokens to this contract, as if it was a standard account. So you make transactions, you make whatever makes sense to generate fees. Probably we'll have some fees to rent storage for contracts that are not very active but staying for a long time. So you have fees in general, any fees. You fill a bucket. Then you can have r/system/validators or r/system/rewards or name to be determined that will snapshot the voting power from evaluation DAO, distribute the bucket to contributors and validators. So probably the fees won't be something on each block, but on each action, a bucket is filled, and sometimes every 8 hours, every day, every week, sometimes we run an admin, the DAO cron system, I don't know, call distribute, call a function that will distribute rewards. So it will look at the bucket and distribute maybe 80% of the fees to contributors based on their amount of evaluation token, contribution token, and 20% for validators, maybe something else. And later, the goal is to do the same, but with the contract authors. So if a contract is called a lot, even if the contract was not approved as being a good contribution for the project, so it can be capitalistic project that has no impact on GNU directly. But to encourage people to write good contract, we want to also monitor this. So maybe it won't be this, but I don't know, 70% contributors, 20% validators, 10% contracts, but not only the top level contract. Top level plus dependencies. Meaning that if you are not writing code just for GNU, for the community of GNU, but here you want to earn money and your superpower is to write good code, good libraries, we want to incentivize people to write the best libraries, to write the best GRC20 implementation or whatever. So at the end, if you write a good library which is called by something else, you should earn a lot of money because you made great open source code. So if I dezoom, proof of contribution is not a topic at the moment. I will write more doc soon to allow people working on it. But what you need to remind that is that we will have contracts to manage validators, to manage rewards, etc. But the most, at some point, we want to have voting systems. It can be very simple at the beginning, or already the one we have in mind with governance module. But the really important thing is evaluation DAO. So evaluation DAO is blocking the phase 2, but it's also an important part of proof of contribution, because proof of contribution, without proof of contribution, basically, it's not proof of contribution, it's just proof of authority. Proof of authority is based on AIB, the GNU team, someone, so a dictator is telling, here are the trusted people, the trusted validators. So we don't want this. We want proof of authority with a DAO. So now if we come back to evaluation DAO, there are multiple steps. There is a step of entering the DAO. Earning points. Level up. Governance not on the chain, but on the DAO itself. So entering the DAO should be easy. We want people to easily enter the DAO, so it should be automated to enter the lowest level. So we don't want this part to take a lot of time. Maybe at the beginning we still want to control everything, but at some point we want this part to not take time from any people because it's the most spam-friendly part. Easy to spam. So probably entering the DAO is like a CAPTCHA, but the CAPTCHA is to make a contribution, but it's easy to spam. So yeah, maybe having unapproved PR or other way. This will be the anti-spam system. Maybe at some point it would just be with KYC, I don't know, but we need something where people can try to earn more points later, but we don't want everyone to enter the DAO easily. So we want a lot of people to enter the DAO easily, allowing them to then earn more points. Earn more points will probably be by asking before coding. You can earn many points because you make many small bounties because I don't know, you fix a lot of actually you will never make a lot of money if you just focus on writing or on making very insignificant things, even with a lot. The best way to earn a lot of points is to start small, but then to take bigger topics or to propose other topics. To earn points, you have basically two choices. Work on a predefined challenge. It's like a bounty because we say we have this need. This need is already approved to be a need. If you work on this seriously, you will earn points. You can basically be sure that if you follow the rules, you are working on the topic which is pre-approved. There won't be any problem. You can be too slow. You can not follow the rules. But if you follow the rule, etc., it will work. And then you can also propose your own solution. If someone wants to propose something for the chain, if someone wants to propose something that will take a lot of time, it's better for them to ask the DAO. And for this, maybe it makes sense. So once again, probably this can be decided differently during the phase 1 evaluation DAO topic, because I'll give you my opinion on this, but we are defining everything together. But maybe we'll want to have an easy way to enter, which also act like a filter, like an anti-spam, so that you can, after your first simple contribution, start discussing, proposing other topics, and allowing people, the top level contributors to review only what is needed. The goal at the end is to have a potentially infinite size of contributors. So it's not possible in terms of scalability that we review everything, the non-members, the first level members, the biggest contribution that requires multiple days to review, etc. We will need to have some kind of circles which will allow a lot of participation here on the external. Some of them will pass through, but the goal is to have less and less noise when you are in the center, so you can focus on important topics that requires a lot of of dedication in time and energy because we want to avoid security issues. So probably we'll have multiple circles, multiple levels to scale everything. So at the end, we can have an infinite amount of people that tries here. Then a first layer with newcomers that will try to enter the next level, etc., etc. That's an option to scale it potentially with infinite amount of people. So it's not mandatory to start. We can start with something simple, but proof of contribution is here to secure a chain. It won't work if we are 10. We need to make something that will work for a huge amount of members. So earning point will become an important part of evaluation DAO. A way to evaluation DAO should have on-chain bounties, predefined bounties with pre-allocated amount of points, where here you can just imagine entering the DAO, meaning having an approved PR. What we need to do is a system to map the GitHub account with a GNO account. If we do this, and if we define that approving a PR is the way to enter, we don't have everything. We only have the developer. We need to find some other solutions for non-developers, but we can have an automatic system to enter the DAO with simple contributions. Then we will want to have on-chain project management. At the beginning, it can be V0 bounty board. And asking before coding is a way to make proposals, discuss. V0 can be just a r/board, so a forum, where we can add add fields, maybe with bounty style fields. So maybe it's just a discussion. You discuss. Either the proposal is denied, or the proposal is approved, or the proposal is limited to an amount of money. I don't know. And and the last part is asking after coding. So it's more about negotiating. If you made something that was not planned, but you are requesting funds, requesting tokens, points, the goal is to have a way to negotiate. So it will probably be similar to the ask before, probably a forum system. /board with bounty style fields. So if we have this, we can earn more points and many points, and we can have people taking risks to invest days or weeks on something difficult, or to create teams or organization or project or whatever. Level up will be a way to go from here to here. So the first one could be automated or not. Then we can. It should be to enter the newcomer to I don't know, senior, and I don't know, VIP, level 1, level 2, level 3, etc. But yeah, people will want to level up because there are more responsibility, but also more rewards, more voting powers, etc. So level up is define how you can manage memberships in levels. And finally, some exception governance. I don't know if it's a dedicated post-it, but it's about, okay, we want to allow some people to level up. How can we fire them? How can we block them? How can we? So step down, pause, fire, change rules. So it's not about the full on-chain governance. It's not about managing, I don't know, treasury. It's not about managing everything. It's about managing the evaluation DAO itself. So evaluation DAO is a big topic. At some point, it should be small in terms of code. Pretty sure it will be relatively small. But yeah, there are multiple things to take into account. But if we manage to do this, we can make a first DAO with 10 people that will go to 20, 50, 100, 300, then multiple, a lot of people, but a smaller core team, which is more trusted and way more incentivized to protect the chain. And then we can scale everything and we can give power. We can consider that this evaluation DAO becomes the authority of many topics, including the validator set, including the chain governance. So basically, evaluation DAO is the V1 of proof of contribution, because the only thing that we'll need to do after is a way to set a validator set. So probably something like 50 line of code, because it's clearly a way to list validators. Another about rewards, and this can maybe be done later, because during that time we will still fill the bucket. So just so you know, DAO is probably something like 2/3 of the proof of contribution whole topic. So I would love, I will need to move soon. If you have some question, I would love to reply. But yeah, just to give an highlight on this specific topic, because it looked like just an exercise in game of Thrones, a way to earn tokens. But it's really important for phase 2 to scale it, to opening to the mass, because we don't want to review everything. And we also, so an important thing about evaluation DAO, we want it to scale the virtual core team, not only employees. So this is a reason to scale potentially without limit, to give ownership of the chain to a good DAO. Later, it will be on the mainnet. During the testnet, it will still be hybrid, but we'll start trusting a lot this DAO and progressively go to giving all the chain to this DAO later. And the last part is about, so scalability is about how many contributions we can review, how many pull requests we can review, how many local meetups we can review, etc. And the second part is linked to the review, but it's not about scalability in terms of number. It's about fairness and conflict of interest. If we don't have evaluation DAO and people want to earn monies with the competition, since we still have something like Atoms, which is more than $1 million, I don't want to have the responsibility to say, okay, this PR earns, I don't know, 10% of this amount, and this one is canceled. I don't want to have people trying to kill me because I just give my opinion on this PR is good, this PR is shit. So I need to distribute the vote to be transparent first, to be on-chain, where people will even either ask before coding or ask after coding and negotiating, and the DAO will say, okay, as a DAO, we have similar interests than the core team, but not only, we want to review the usefulness, the quality of code, usefulness, the quality of code. I don't know the reusability. I don't know what the DAO will decide. I will personally look a lot on future-proofism, simplicity, so quality of code through simplicity and future-proofism, like migration, reusability, etc. But it will be defined by the DAO. The DAO will decide what's important for them to protect the project, to protect the chain, to protect the tokenomics of the chain, to protect everything. The DAO will be responsible to protect their chain, the things that could give them a lot of money if they participate well enough. It can become their virtual employer. Their chain can become the virtual employer at some point. It's important that not a core team, not me, not Jay, not anyone is responsible to say, I don't like your PR, and won't let you justify. So we need the evaluation DAO to enter phase 2 because we want to scale the review and we want to still have time to code. We want to make something fair and avoid conflict of interest. And we want to have an entity we can trust to give a lot of ownership and power. And right now, our belief is that the best entity to protect the chain is its contributors, the one investing energy, time, understanding how it works internally, having enough time to prove that they are aligned with the philosophy, with the goal of the project. So evaluation DAO is really important. Right now, we have multiple contributions. It's mostly by text. Probably the next phase is either to go deeper into discussion. You can review the various issues, or maybe it's to try developing basic interfaces and implementations so we can review and go progressively to have all the features. Maybe what makes sense at the beginning is a way to maybe the first part is just this one. If we have a way to earn points, to attribute points, and we have Genesis with few people, it can be the core team, it can be the best contributors, then we can manually invite new people and attribute points. This is about scaling it. It's not mandatory, but it will be mandatory at some point. Levels are probably useless while we still keep the power on the infrastructure at the beginning, where we don't have validators. So yeah, maybe we can just try with V0 a way to attribute and earn points managed by a DAO of existing contributors. Then we can add this to have badges and layers. We can have this to have a bot. Maybe it will just be a bot, a script, allowing to like a faucet of contribution points. As soon as you have a proof that you made something, you can enter you can earn your first points, and maybe those first points will allow you to unlock advanced feature like discussing on the forum, etc. I will need to move soon. Do you have some questions? Do you want to share something? Any comment? Andrew, can you tell us what do you think? Yeah, what was your goal because you start working on it? Were you more working on this part or on other part?
Not clear who you were referring to.
I was asking Andrew, which started working on evaluation DAO. Oh, maybe no, sorry, more governance module.
Oh, my bad.
Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't hear my name. Yeah, I was actually working on the governance module, like a couple months ago, but it didn't get enough traction, so I kind of had to put it on hold for now.
Mm-hmm.
But,
and do you think that contribution, your work on governance module was linked to evaluation DAO or not? Because the two options are okay. We can make a generic governance module without evaluation DAO, or one which is strongly linked with the evaluation DAO.
Well, I don't think my model was completely separated from the evaluation DAO, but well, I think the part on the entering the DAO where the DAO itself is kind of like divided into multiple tiers, with the lowest one having like a low barrier to entry. That somewhat kind of relates to the model, because the one of the calls we had back way back included a model where like the highest tier would have like 50% of the total voting power, and the second one would have half of that, and next one having a quarter of the highest level and stuff. I think I remember that. And the latest update that I posted on the issue kind of included that model. So I think it sort of relates to the evaluation there.
Yeah, we just, for people, last time we discussed this, we were more trying to define the difference between the levels, and one idea was to have 7 levels because prime number. With the highest one, I put 0 to 6, but it's probably 1 to 7, I don't know, is like the top level. And first level with invitation approval, it could be something like this. And yeah, there was a question about should we have voting power based like I don't remember, 50% here, 25. But if we don't vote here, it's not counted by default. So basically, I don't remember exactly. No, it was different. But yeah, the idea was to say that the higher you are, the most veto power you have, while you don't have to care about everything. It's more like having a way to rarely protect the chain, while on the other hand, you are more taking simple decisions on a daily basis from the main levels. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, and the other things to remind also is that maybe we'll create multiple levels like this, but probably some of them will be empty. So maybe we'll have 1, 0 automatic first level, first senior level. Maybe we'll have something which seems obvious because it's easy to say, okay, that we have a recurring contributors, or just people that contributed once and want to clarify. Maybe it will be something like this. We can skip some levels. So at the end, we have options to add intermediary levels if we don't want to always go from 0 to 1, 1 to 3, 3 to 6. Okay, maybe we can do something like this, and later we add an intermediary level because we want to have something which is more important than this one, but still less important than this one. So this takes part in the evaluation DAO topic. To be honest, that's not my favorite one. I'm more on the other topics, but we are, a part of this challenge is not technical. It's more like tokenomics rules, or political and tokenomics. How can we make something fair, ensuring that the chain is secure? It's interesting to try entering the project in, let's say, 5 years. So we don't have something where the existing users will take everything, but we also want something that will motivate people to say, okay, this is my daily job. I can work exclusively with GNO because it pays well when you are contributing regularly or making huge contributions sometimes. So yeah, there is a tokenomics challenge too. There is an architecture challenge, a global architecture challenge. There are tokenomics challenges. There are technical challenges. And then we have a roadmap to define in terms of what could be a V0 of the whole project, V1, V2, V3, what could be a V0 of each module. So yeah, and at the end, I think there won't be a lot of line of code. It will be easy to read and understand, but still there are a lot of work to do in clarification and definition. And this is one of the main parts of this issue. So a good way to earn point during phase 1 is to work on these 3 modules, and just working on the definition is probably, I don't know, maybe 50% of the points will be allocated to the ones that define the rules well, and the rest for the people making the implementation. I don't think the implementation will earn the most points. The difficulty here is to write the rules. Then implementation will be hard because we want something that will evolve, or something modular enough, something which will have multiple versions, an important contract that will be imported by many other ones, because it will power the chain, but it's also callable from your contract. If at some point you want a way to have a contract with some ACLs to check if your user, the one calling your contract, is a member of is a contributor, you can call the contract just to check. It's like an NFT with token gating. With token gating, you can call the contract from another contract just to know if someone is a contributor, what is the level, what is the voting power. So yeah, Immersion DAO has a huge challenge of definitions, architecture, economics, rules, and then another one on implementation, feature proof, composable, extendable, simple. I need to go. Is there another question? Or another question? Question, something?
Oh, this is kind of off topic, but a quick question.
Yeah.
So it's in regards to the POA that we just discussed. So
Yeah.
From one of our previous calls, I remember GNO is considering joining the interchain security, right? So once, obviously after we figure out IBC, but once that happens, is the whole POA thing going to eventually phase out, basically, or like how is it gonna work alongside interchain security?
Yeah. So to be more clear on one part is about the goal. The goal is to have ICS 1. So GNO plan to be an ICS consumer of probably Cosmos. Cosmos Hub. And maybe we will, and maybe, no, that's the plan actually, ICS-X, where GNO land is an ICS, not sure what the term, when it's not consumer, it's a producer?
Provider chain?
Provider. Oh, I have a doubt about the term. But yeah, GNO will be the consumer of Cosmos Hub. Cosmos Hub will be the provider, probably. So yeah, the goal is to have ICS and GNO, yes, but probably with 2 drivers in 2 directions. One with ICS, one as a consumer, and another as a producer. And when we'll have producer, it will probably not only be about securing and tokens, but probably be linked with IBC. With IBC X, sharing contracts, sharing fees, license on contracts. Probably. There is a challenge because we need to make a matching. Since the goal with ICS1 is to depend on IBC1, IBC1 is needed. to transfer tokens and memos, etc. If we make like mini stable coins to have a way to either have a 1-1 mapping or a way maybe we can just hard code a part. Maybe we can just have something here. I don't know, to be honest. Just giving options. It's not clear exactly. But one of the options is to define. Okay, we have chain fees. We want to distribute it to contributors, creators, to contracts. Most of the time, ICS, etc., will work with escrow accounts or buckets. Probably we can just say that when we distribute the rewards, we put some of them into a bucket. The bucket can then be sent to through ABC or maybe requested to ICS. And I don't know exactly the details on who asked what, but the goal is to find a way to say we give that amount of tokens here that belongs to the amount of requests which are linked to ICS, so to secure other chain or to be secured by other chain. There is a challenge, but basically one of the options is to determine fixed amounts of fees for ICS. Another way is to determine like a peg between Huguenot and Atoms. I don't know, to be honest, but when we were thinking about this with other brains, including the one from Jay, we had ideas. We can fake it. We can just have a bucket which is not over collateralized but overfilled, and just send something. There are many options. We can also sponsor. We can use the treasury of GNO at some point to manage the difference and have some margin. I'm not sure at this time, but I agree. There is a huge challenge to make ICS between proof of stake and proof of contribution together. It's probably easier that way than between proof of contribution and proof of work, but we still have a challenge. And actually, we'll have the same thing when GNOLAN will provide ICS for other GNU VM chains, where the other GNU VM won't probably use proof of contribution. They'll probably prefer to use proof of stake. And we will need to make the equivalent operation, but in the reverse mode, to translate what they did on their with their stake and receive the good amount of dust from the other chain and share it to validators, to contributors, etc. Oh, and last thing to keep in mind is proof of contribution powers the chain without the need of proof of staking. Staking may be a contract. We can have staking. So it won't be staking that secures the consensus. It can be staking for such reason, to have ways for people that want to secure the chain differently and maybe earn some rewards. We can add staking on the side. It won't be the staking because staking on proof of stake is not just about a way to invest money. It's securing the chain, choosing the validators. It's linked to the slashing. It's linked to the voting. It's linked to everything. But it could make sense to have contract-based staking, where you just lock your token against the contract. You get a receipt. This receipt allows you to get back your token after 15 days or whatever makes sense in our case. And while you do it, you earn some rewards, some dust. So another option is to have staking on GNOLAN. But this staking, once again, won't be linked to the consensus, or maybe indirectly. But what we want to try, we believe, maybe we are wrong, but we believe that a proof of authority powered by a DAO may have a better Satoshi score than proof of stake. For this reason, one node, one power versus different voting power based on amount of staked atoms. Preference, not necessarily atoms. So here you can have big nodes. You can have someone staking on 10 validators and taking a huge amount of percents, where here we can decide, I say 100 nodes, we can decide to have 1,000, to have what makes sense. Probably it won't work in terms of performance, but we can decide an arbitrary number. The DAO decide, the DAO can change the opinion. But yeah, we can say that one node, one power. So probably, if we are not wrong, if we do our job well, if we fight marketing and I don't know, consortium of validators, etc., we can have huge Satoshi score. And more resistant to financial attack. That's one of the goals. Another one is to another one with proof of contribution is to finally reward open source contributions. So repair the fairness on something which is unfair for many years. But if we just speak about chain, proof of authority is untrustable by your user. Proof of stake, proof of work are depending on finance. It's maybe very hard. Maybe no one will do it, but it's still it has a weakness based on the financial part. If we can make a good enough DAO and a good enough amount of nodes who have the same amount of power, potentially we have something more resistant to financial attack and with a better Satoshi score, less ways to take over the chain, even if people groups together to try to get more power. So yeah, we believe a lot in this. We know it's harder than proof of stake. Proof of stake is easy to run a proof of stake chain. You find the first validators, other validators will come to earn money. You can start a proof of stake chain in 1 week if you want. Proof of contribution is a way longer. In our case, Game of Thrones will last for months, and probably at the beginning the chain won't be distributed enough, at least for our expectation. But yeah, after a year, after 2 years, maybe we will have a huge Satoshi score. So proof of contribution is something we want to propose to all the ecosystems, not only Cosmos, as a new way to make a consensus, which has highest cost in terms of setup, but then you have something, more ecological than proof of work, while having a huge Satoshi score and having features like smart contracts. So let's try this. If we succeed, it's great. Else, I think we will learn a lot.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, I need to go. Thank you very much. And yeah, we by default we should see each other in 2 weeks on Discord for Game of Thrones. But just to give you a warning, a disclaimer, maybe it will change. We are considering changing some details. Maybe it will stay on Discord, maybe not, maybe, I don't know, but yeah. Just feel free to follow the tweets, follow Discord, just in case we make some announcements. And to give you some visibility on what is behind. So we are hiring DevRels, and with DevRels, we should have better follow-up of what people are building, etc. What we would like to have is keeping some places where we speak about Game of Thrones. Not sure about the format, but probably Game of Thrones, since it's a competition with different rhythm, probably it's better to switch to something more asynchronous first, more by text, and keep sometimes some workshops. Maybe it makes more sense that some Discord office hours are more focused just on the users. So not me or the core team speaking, but people. Hey, I'm working on this. I am discovering this. I tried this. So sometimes the core team is there and more to challenge and be there to discuss, but keeping more place for the builders, for people building on GNO. I would love to see Office Hour more like this instead of having the core team leading the meeting. And we still have a meeting where the core team explain what's happening now, what are the recent changes, what we are building with various partners, giving visibility on future topics like IBC, ICS, etc. So yeah, just in case you want to attend the next Game of Thrones Office Hour, come back on Discord or follow us on Twitter, just to make sure you won't come in 2 weeks and we won't be there, because that's an option. And the other option is that we are still there in 2 weeks, and maybe we'll have additional or different meetings on the side. We'll see. It's kind of messy, my Miro. I think it was good while I was explaining in real time. Do you think it makes sense that I export it in PNG or not?
Yeah, I think it could be helpful.
Okay, I would just add a big disclaimer because disclaimer. Many inaccuracies.
And this is going on GitHub, right?
I don't know. On GitHub, we have a new repo named workshops. Maybe I will just put it here as a PNG. And if it can help people, that's a good news. Okay, no. Okay, we'll try. Oh no, I should be able to do something like less opacity. No. Okay, we'll try like this and export this PNG. I don't remember how we can do it. I will find later. I don't understand how Miro can export this as a CSV. But okay, no, I will. Oh, maybe this save as image. Okay. Yeah, I'll try to publish this on GitHub Workshop, at least in a PR. So I will share it now on github.com. Workshops. I can't find it on my computer. Okay. Okay, it's readable. Oh, I said on workshops, it's better on the meetings repository. Workshop is more for real workshops and presentations. Public dev call, no, that's this. Game of Thrones. Office Hour. Okay, it's there. I put it on the Discord chat.
Thank you.
Anything to add? I will disconnect. Vale, do you want to share something?
Guess we're good.
Vale, do you want to share something?
On my side, thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, have a nice day, nice night, nice anything, and see you soon.
Merci beaucoup.
See you guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.